Everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi,
Happy
my name is
Halloween.
Monty Collier, and um, this gentleman is Laura Milan. That young lady is Jenna Oliver. Up to the left is
And it's her
Mariposa.
birthday today. Happy birthday, Jenna.
Thank you.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday,
Happy
Jenna.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
Halloween.
Jenna. And then that's Ryan down there. Ryan, can you say hello?
Hello, that's me.
So today, Terry, how are you?
I'm good. I can't get my picture to come up though. I don't know why.
Take your time. It's Monday.
Honey, please.
Halloween.
Yay.
Yeah.
Jenna's birthday.
So happy birthday, Jenna. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Um, while Terry is getting her screen together, I just want to say that today, Terry, I wanted to speak a little about push and pull and how it works in our lives. And it's important to be conscious of it, this
Okay.
energy, and to be aware of how to use it for your benefit. Um, And I guess without any further ado, I'll just begin on that note, right?
Oh,
So I was studying and I came across something that was push and pull strategy. And me being the curious guy that I am, hello, there you are.
there you
Me being the
are.
curious guy that I am, I started taking notes. Well, this may shock everyone because I'm such a perfectionist and genius, and I have so much order in my office that I never lose anything, but I misplaced my notes. And so, after considering why that would occur, I thought maybe for the better, I just needed to take new notes and I needed to speak to my team this morning and all of us get on board with what this really means. And since we know everything is energy, when you lose something, especially me, somehow maybe I push that out for a good reason and I'm unconscious of it, right? Have you guys ever experienced something coming to an end and then you realize that you took these unconscious steps and actually all of it was for your betterment? Have you ever experienced that, Terry? Anything like that?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just kind of look at it as it was not that it was never really meant to be, but it wasn't meant to be
Hmm.
stationary.
And do you
It
look
was
on both
something in
sides of it
passing.
when, pardon?
It was something in passing.
Hmm. Now, when you look at it that way, what's the other way that you could look at that? That same situation, because only you know that situation. Could you have looked at it and harvested something else out of that if you chose to?
If I look back on it, yeah, I would probably pick up, what did I needed to get out of that situation while it was going on? Did I
Hmm.
receive that? And obviously I have because it's moved on and it's no longer in the forefront.
Okay. So I wanna say this. I get like this, like Milan calls it, this giddy feeling when you just come in and you're like, ah! Like I'm trying to hit a three-pointer,
Oh,
Milan, and
and
she's
it's
like,
like,
not today. So what I say is like this, you can't be stumped because you're open and you're a great thinker. And that's what the next part is. That's how you pull. That's how you pull everything great in. That's the pull part. Knowing yourself, being comfortable with allowing something to happen for your betterment. And so, me, pull strategy, attraction, pulling things into you that are going to further bring out the things that are already within your ideas, your thoughts, your visions, everything good in your imagination, right?
Right.
Um, I,
My screen center. Okay.
yes, I think that um, I think that you're an expert and you're an expert attractor. I think that I'd like to ask a few questions and maybe have the panel ask a few questions and share a few things. The first thing, I already asked you if you'd experienced that, and yes, you have, but have you experienced things that you need to push out since you started with us? Have you experienced doubt, fear, worry, any of those things that we could discuss?
I think the biggest thing is doubt within myself. Like I've contacted a few of the publishers and then they give me these astronomical fees or whatever. And I know that that's not the one. And then the one that I talked to that seemed like they were going to be really helpful, for whatever the reason, the number was misplaced. So it's back to, well, maybe that wasn't meant to be, but they gave me great feedback. So continue on with the next one. So I contacted online one of the postcards that I got in the mail about my book printer, and it wouldn't go through. It just wouldn't go through. So now I'm not back to square one, but I am back to calling other publishers, be it local or non-local, and then see where they want me to go, because I felt like those other things, I can't seem to get centered. I feel like I'm looking away from you guys and my head keeps turning, and I don't want my head to turn.
You look marvelous. You look marvelous. It's straightforward. Yeah.
At least this is better than the side eye view from the other day at the pool. You guys only saw my nose and one eye goes like it. Anyway, so it's led me to go ahead and to get information from others that I can actually talk to, versus being online and, what do you want to do and this, that, and the other, and then see what they say about retrieving it from the ebook. I mean, I have it on my phone, so they will tell me what the next step will be. But I haven't gotten discouraged, and that's the thing, because in the past, like I said, this has been going on for a while, I'd be gung-ho about it, and then it would be like, but that hasn't happened. It's still in the forefront. It's still written down. It's still a goal. And like I said, with my one of the things I was writing down the other day was not just finding a publisher, but finding the publisher of the many books that I would publish. So it's not just one, there's others that are in the background that are waiting to come out, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. So Mariposa, before you respond to what Terry said, Terry, what exactly do you need? You need a publisher? Is that what you need?
I need a publisher. Like I said, I've looked online and I've called a couple, and that was when I was going on the book with sound. But then the realization came to start without sound and then work my way up to that, maybe in the next book or in addition to this, because some people had said, well, what about a tape or a CD to go with it? But that's not something that a child can handle on their own. It would have to be parental involvement. And I want the child in the beginning to be able to pick up the book on their own. That's why I wanted the sounds with it, because they could push the buttons. But then I had to start to think like a child. If a child is looking at a book or a parent is reading it to them and it says something about the sounds of a lion, they automatically are going to hear that, because a child still has their imagination.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now I'm messaging someone who I know who is a really good author. And
Miss Peggy.
yeah, sometimes you have to just like hear things over and over again and think, just take a look around, do some inventory. And this is how the power of a network works. So
Right.
I'm going to
Ryan shared a quote last week I think it was you, Ryan. It says, I read it somewhere. Your network is your net worth.
Yeah, I said that. It was you and I.
You?
And I was like,
We're
that's
all
my
involved.
motto, right?
And then that falls back to what my mom used to say, and my dad, it's not always what you know, it's who you know.
Not,
Because
yeah.
that who can be a part of your what, and that who can be a part of your how. So, it's the full circle.
I have a question for you, Terry. So, because you said something, the first thing you said when Monty asked you the question was, you have, I think it was doubt within yourself. Can you?
I did. I don't anymore.
Okay. In the beginning, when you first wrote the book and you were thinking about The book.
Right, because I was hitting so many obstacles when I first wrote it, and I had people read it, and then we did a ebook, and without, I don't know if it was with pictures or whatever, and then we did the second one, and it had the pictures and the sound, but then there was always an obstacle, but I didn't look at it anymore within the last, few months of being with you guys as an obstacle. It was more of a hurdle. And it was a hurdle that I would get up to it and I'd climb over it the best way I can. And so now they have been put into action and it's been put into action to get over it, to get to the next step.
Okay, great. So I have another question. So you created your end state vision. Did you write it? Your Power Life script?
Yes, as far as other goals and not necessarily the times that they're going to be completed, but the times I want them to be completed. And then the follow-up behind that. And then some others were added to it because then I started thinking about the things that I no longer say want, I say that I'm going to do as far as travel, and I'm a big National Geographic person. So there's a lot of things that I've seen with that I think since I was a child, when I first heard about Galapagos Islands, that was one of the things that I wanted to see, because I want to see the stuff that everybody doesn't get to see every day. And then one of the things that I wanted to see was a part of the Great Barrier Reef, which is near there. But prior to that, when we were traveling, we got to see the reef outside of Mexico that goes through 3 different countries. And it was amazing. What we called it was the flip side of God, that my husband and I got to snorkel there over that reef, and it just infused more and more. And we've done research and, the things, that law of attraction, which has become a good part of my vocabulary, things are showing up in my feed because I also have always wanted to do an Alaskan cruise, not just the cruise part, but because I wanted to see the whales and I wanted to see what was there and, icebergs before they, dwindle down to this little creek running through the country. And those things are showing up, not just on my feed, but the other day when I got up, my husband had sent me several posts on Instagram of just whales, large, big, small, coming up on kayakers, coming up on boats. And it was just like, I want to do that. I want to do that. But it's a great big world out there. And we've always wanted to see not just bits and pieces of it. We want to see as much as we can. So that was one of the things that was written down as well.
Yeah.
Terry, my ocean organization, I work with a nonprofit organization for the ocean, and I work with one of the world's greatest whale experts. If you ever come to Santa Cruz, California, you can go out with him. But also, I'm working with an organization. We have it's a 183-foot icebreaker luxury yacht. We're going to the Galapagos in April. So just saying.
Let me put on my phone for my memo because I didn't get that, girlfriend.
Let me add it to the calendar.
Yeah.
Pass me pen and paper because I will write a check now.
Yeah.
Seriously, you are going to the Galapagos Island.
Yeah, I will get you the information.
So
Because I
I'm
can tell these
laughing.
parents in a heartbeat, I will be closed.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
I'm laughing because I just sent Milan a picture. You just really read my notes, Terry. With the imagining and envisioning and seeing all this and planning it out in your head and wanting to do this and see the dreams through. I wrote this morning, plan and pull your results towards you, right? Envision, work with your ideas, work with your wants, right? See them all the way into fruition. Because, you've had this idea. How long have you guys been talking about it, Terry?
Oh, wow. I've been talking about Galapagos Islands and travel as a young child.
So
I mean,
actually,
National
it's already
Geographic
been
was one of
done
the
in your
magazines
mind.
that my parents got me.
Mhm.
And then when Michael and I got together, we both wanted to travel. He'd done a little bit, being in the military and whatever. And then I can't remember what it was, but one year he was in Aviano, Italy. And, I was like, well, we can save or we can borrow and I can go. And his first statement that he almost got in trouble for was, I don't think any of the guys are taking their wives, only to find out after the fact. But yes, love is strong and love is unconditional, and he was forgiven and he promised to take me back to Europe. So we got, we'll get there. But it's travel has always been there. It's always been there for both of us.
Mhm.
And it's
So-
important to connect with that vision every day. I don't know if you do it every day. For me, I have a reminder on my phone. One of the things is to connect to the end state, right? To visualize, to see it, and to feel it. And using your imagination, which you have written it down, you have it. Also the book being the image and the vision of it being sold in Barnes and Nobles, and you walking in and signing, and kids are running up to you and hugging you and saying, thank you so much for this book,
Yeah.
love it. And just connect to that every day. And that's by law of attraction, to start attracting it. Like you attracted this conversation with Jenna of going to how do you say it?
Galapagos.
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 Yeah.
I gotta look it up. Sounds very interesting.
So
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is either.
I wanna tell you guys that especially Terry, Peggy's probably in a Zoom herself, but I messaged her like 12 times. So so and I specifically said, good morning, dear friend. I have a question. I have a client who's written her book, wants to publish, has contacted publishers. Would you be interested in speaking with her? Maybe Hay House could publish her book. Do you know about Hay House? You heard about Hay House?
No.
Okay, Hay House is
Really
Hay House is like based in Canada, I believe, and
Mhm.
this lady Peggy McCall was number 3 behind J.K. Rowling with one of her Harry Potter books. She reached the peak, like when they hit the high sales and then it kind of diminishes. But she hit that number 3, and I thought that was amazing because J.K. Rowling was selling out everything. So to be number 3 behind her, that impressed me about Peggy. But though my process of writing is very sloth style, slow turtle sloth style, she's patient with me, and I'm still writing. But the fact that you're finished, I think that's gonna prompt a response, and I will be attempting to get her on one of these calls or on a call with you and probably Milan personally. Milan, would you like to, if she does,
I
if
want to
maybe
be
that,
on
would
the
you
call.
like to chaperone your mom? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool
Hay
beans.
House is the pinnacle of publishing for all of us, I think.
And by the
So,
way, friends,
yeah.
I spent an entire weekend at her cottage in Canada after one of Bob Proctor's
Cottage.
events. She came in her Mercedes with her blonde hair flowing, and she had Tommy in the front seat and me in the back of her Mercedes convertible. And it was really wonderful. So she's a personal friend. And so
She's used to this law of vibration and visualization.
Mhm.
yes,
The
I
80s.
love how she just
met-
takes so
She met up with Bob, and ever since then they've been working
Mhm.
together
yeah.
since the 80s. Like she's been at it since the 80s, and
And
she's a multi best-selling author.
to piggyback on Mariposa, the 80s Mariposa, you triggered something. Do you remember the movie Tootsie?
Yes.
So the director, Phil Goldfine, is actually, he's an EGOT. He won the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, the Tony, and only a few people have done so,
And all
right? Well, he is her BFF, and there she is. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's Peggy and Phil Why does Facebook do that? Ooh. So
It
anyway,
wants everything
it's
to
blocking
end.
like this is confidential. So this is Peggy McCall and Phil Goldfine one day ago. Phil Goldfine is an Academy Award winner, Emmy winner, Tony Award winner, and a wonderful friend and stage sharer. We had the best time at our Masters Manifesting event last week. So I'm going to get in touch with her if it takes me 3 days for her to get my message. And again, I'll be back with you. So this is part of the pool. This is part of the pool. This is part of your pool. I'm very attracted to your energy. So you've pulled me in. All
Does
right.
this pool come with oxygen?
Yes, girl.
Okay, because
But
right now we're doing the little ticker tape in the old ticker.
yeah, and that's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's increase, right? It's increase. It feels great. It's a little nerve wracking, like, but the thing is attracting the pull strategy. You know, Bob Proctor said when you come in this building, everywhere you go, the room lights up. And he said, I want you at the front, right there, greeting everybody. He said, now I'll take it from there. I'm on the stage, and he fixes a little tie. When he said that to me, it was empowering. So I want to say to you, girl, if you don't know that you have what we call the Midas touch, you can get everything you want. You can have it. You see these little things. I was speaking to Mariposa and Ryan this morning as we got on the call, and you've seen these little bits of evidence, Mariposa. You remember we were saying how she's had this happen, and you see this
Gathering
happening.
of evidence, the period, the law of gestation, gathering evidence. It's one of the laws, the main natural laws.
I love how, could you just express the law for all of us? Because I love being reminded as well.
Sure, it's okay. So in the manifestation process, right, you create a vision, a visualization of what it is that you want and you desire, and you connect to it with feeling and emotion, and you see yourself there, you feel good, you celebrate it, you savor it, right? That's when you transfer to your subconscious mind, which your subconscious mind is in every cell in your body. And I'm going to turn it over to Jenna in a minute because she watched this video, and I wrote it in my book too. It's about epigenetics. We're born with certain gene expression, and then our environment also influences how we express our cells. Our cells express themselves in the gene pool and all of that. A little bit scientific, but anyways. So you connect with the end state, it transfers to your body, you take action, right? And then there's that period called gestation where you're gathering evidence, you're gathering information, you're gathering proof that your vision, your goal is done, right? Because we're coming from the end result. And so you're gathering all this evidence, and then you're going to put order to it, an order that makes sense to you. And then you start taking out, and you just, again, the law of attraction, you just start bringing the things towards you. And you, in this period is, gestation period usually means pregnancy, right? When you're giving, you have an idea, you plant it in the subconscious mind, which is considered the womb of creation. It's like growing, right? You're planting it, you're nurturing. We talked about your plants and how you nurture them, and the vibe you give them gives them life, right? Same thing with us. The more we give the energy to our dream, the good feelings, the vibe, the more it grows versus dying off. Because if you don't nurture it, it dies. Right. Bob said most ideas are stillborn because we just don't nurture them. And so in that nurturing, that gestation period, that can vary from a few months to a few days to instant. You've seen that instant manifestation, right, of your desire. It has also to do with, is it in circulation? Is it already existence? If it's not in existence, then it has to be created, right? And so that's that process. But the most important thing is just to have that faith and to hold on, to nurture that idea by connecting to the idea, feeling the end, believing it, seeing it, being excited about it, being happy about it. And then you're going to recognize when the right things come along. You're going to say yes, and you follow your yes, your ooh, yes. Yes, that sounds good. Yes, I would love that. Or no. Sometimes it's a no, and you'll know it when you check in with yourself, with your energy, your internal part of your heart. We're gonna talk about the heart too, because that's where we live, is our heart. And the heart actually has, I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot stronger and more magnetic than the energy from our brain and the rest of our body. The heart. This is why I drink cacao now. I switched from coffee to cacao because it's a heart opener. And so we can connect with our hearts. And, you know, a lot of people have died from broken hearts because they've shut their hearts down, or they've said no and they've numbed their hearts. Like I can literally say I had a blocked heart, and I'm barely starting to open it up with my cacao.
Yeah, I watched. Yeah, I watched the movie called The Power of the Heart the other day, Terry. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a Gaia production by the people who did The Secret. It's a beautiful film, but it talks, Mariposa, about how hearts, that only by our hearts breaking can they grow and can they open. You know, that it's hard because it breaks, but it's like muscles. You have to break them down to build them up. And that when our heart breaks, you know, it gets stronger and it grows and it gets bigger. But The Power of the Heart talks about the fact that we physically feel things in our heart first. And there's this interesting experiment that they talk about where they put people in front of a TV screen and they flash random images at them, and they hooked them up to monitors because they wanted to see what their instincts were, what reacted first. And what they found is that about 5 seconds before the image flashed on the screen, if it was a calm image, the heart rate would stay consistent. If it was going to be an alarming or an emotionally stimulating image, like, you know, a striking snake or something, the heart would dive. The heart rate would dive in anticipation of that image. And so our heart is instinctual, and it has this ability to anticipate, you know, what's coming. And they've discovered in science that it's not, we always say it's our gut instinct, or, you know, that we think about, we have train ourselves to be aware, but it's our heart that opens and then communicates to the brain and to the stomach and all those other things. So, you know, this is kind of a little deterred path from where we were, but I think it's very interesting because I think that since we met you, one of the things that we know about you is that you have a big open heart. And, you know, I think if you lead with your heart, I always do this, you know, so I don't get the computer hump. It's lead with your heart, you know, set your head back. I think I'm trying to remember the saying, but it's, you know, open heart, head back. But I think for me, it's this idea of that if you lead with your heart and you trust your own heart's instinct, then everything comes. And I think it's a physical way to think about, you know, that vibration and that spiritual manifestation that we're working on every day. And how cool for me that this morning, you know, you're talking about all these things that you want, that you hope for. And lo and behold, you know, I work for an ocean foundation with one of the world's, you know, premier shark and one of the world's premier whale experts. And, you know,
Why
I
did
can
you not just stand there and drool or just jump or have taser moments? Because just hearing that I've been introduced to someone that actually knows people that do this all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
See what happens when you say yes to yourself?
yeah.
Doors just open.
I will, yeah, and I'll send you the videos and, you know, and all the information. But you know, Ari, the cool thing too, like with Ari, is you come to California and hop on the boat and go see the whales, or we have a research boat in Key Largo that we go out all the time, you know, and look for sharks. And I'll be down there December 1st, and we're going to be going out doing research on hammerhead sharks. But we should see some whales too, because they come down there. The orcas and a couple of the whales come down there. The right whales on my, and that's the
I would
right
have to
whale.
take an oxygen tank, and it would not be just for diving. It would just be once I got tasered, I could just, like, you know, reboot the heart, the brain,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it would be like a child in a candy store or a toy store, because I got nothing.
Yeah. We when we dive down there, we have a lagoon that we can go into, and you can just dive in 40 foot so you can get used to it again. and there's manatees and seahorses.
Oh,
that
Jim,
little
come
lagoon.
on, girl, come on now. This is foreplay. Please stop.
Are you scuba diving down or you're just watching it from the surface?
Well, with the whales, typically you watch it from the surface, but I scuba dive too, and we scuba dive in Florida. In California, it's cold water diving, where the whales are, so probably just surface to see them, but you can go and see them. Galapagos is technical diving, so we would be surface on the boat, but they have submarines on the boat, so that would be cool to go down in the submarine.
Nice.
But Galapagos is negative, what's called negative diving, and pretty intense. So it's yeah, you have to go head first and then right yourself. So you have to be a pretty technical diver to do dives in Galapagos. But
Just
the
park
boat
me
goes
off
there.
the shore. Just put me on sand, and I will just sit there. Probably within an hour, I will close my mouth and my eye. I mean, yeah. Mhm.
I want to see the puffins. That's always, I like the puffins.
I want to see the giant tortoises.
And the blue-footed boobies.
And
Yeah.
and if I'm happy, any prehistoric lizard looking anything, just the plant life or the fish to snorkel, because there's the Great Barrier Reef, and yeah,
And the whale sharks. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But I think the thing is that this world is so beautiful, and how crazy that in all of this world, when we open our heart, and set our vibration, and, we've been pushing and pushing our whole life, like Monty was talking about earlier. But then when we open our heart and set our vibration and our mind on what we truly want and just believe, it pulls itself to us,
When
you
we
are pulling it, you're attracting it.
Yeah, when you just allow the good that we desire. One exercise that I just discovered or uncovered is when, sometimes we get in our head and our brain is on fire and we're like, I gotta. So one thing we could do is bring that energy down to our heart and to our lower chakras, which is, below our belly. So send our energies. So you would bring your hands up, and then you would, if you feel the heat up here on top of your head, it's warm. So you just want to bring it down, just your hand movement down. You can start to bring that energy down and ask the rest of your body to help with that energy. And you could do it 3 times, and just because, yeah. So then you help your brain, your heart is helping your brain to think and to process and to bring clarity to your vision, right? Because our head is where our consciousness is, and we try to solve everything with our consciousness. But when we connect to our intuition, to our divine spirit, God, guidance, like we get the intuitive hits, we get the ideas, we get the knowing of what to do and how to do it and who to call and when to call, and you're just guided, and you're allowing it to come through versus push, knock. Sometimes we can get in a frenzy because of whatever reasons, right? We're worried, we're doubtful. We're like, it's the end of the month and blah, 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 or whatever, I've been manifesting forever. I need to just do. But it's not the doing that's going to bring it to you. It's the being.
right.
Being. Because you can do a lot of things, but that doesn't mean it's going to get you your results.
Right. I've heard people say you're busy doing nothing. It's not getting you anywhere.
Right. Because we're not connected to our heart, our intuition, our intuitive forces, that energy, that divine energy, that's like the guide. Everything we have, everything we need is right here. It's right inside of us. because we
Yep.
are connected to God, divine source, and everything is there. Everything, there's nothing new on this earth. There's nothing new that's ever been. Everything's already been. We're just calling it to us.
Nothing is
Love the
created or
last-
destroyed, only transferred.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
Say it louder, please. No, just kidding. But do, yeah.
Was that too
But
loud?
do.
Say it again.
Yeah, say it
No, I
again.
said nothing is either created or destroyed, only transferred. So
Yeah, sounded
we gotta
like
wait for people to
Papa.
transfer our stuff.
Right?
Right.
That's the law of transmutation. It's just
Right now, my ship shopper is trying to get in on the conversation. Honey, get what you can and what you can't. Just bring me what you found. I can't stop right now. I can get the Crayola markers later for the kids. I'm
Um,
busy right now.
What? How are you feeling though?
I am feeling, it's hard for me to be overwhelmed, but I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. But in the midst of that, I know it's something that's doable. Prior to the awakening, I guess you could say, I would have thought just another obstacle, but now I look at it as just something else for me to step over and continue on with what I'm doing. It's not stopping me or slowing me down. I just
Mhm.
continue on,
Yeah,
you know, like,
it's feedback.
with
Mhm. Go ahead.
right. And new information and new insights and new visions, not just through my eyes, but through the eyes of others. You know, like we said before, it takes a village, it takes a community. No man is an island, every cliche that goes with that. But when you find your niche, you find your community, then you kind of find what will propel you forward, what will help you to thrust into the things that you want to do. It just gives you, it gives you more ooh yeah moments, it gives you more taser moments, because
Mhm.
what was just a seed, you start to see it to sprout. And then what after that, you start to see, oh, there's a little flower up there. Okay, that
Mhm.
flower is production, creation of what you planted. You know, and then you see that tiny green tomato or that tiny whatever, or you see that book written down, or you see it published, or you see it, you know, someone else reading it. You start to see the manifestation of it. It's no longer just a thought. It's become, you know, something tangible that you can touch, put your hands on, and expand on.
Mhm. I just want to say true. The real undisputed evidence, and fear, false evidence appearing real. So when you use your push-pull, I want you to push out that false evidence appearing real always. Just swipe fear.
Right.
It's all false evidence, the doubt, question yourself, the inner saboteur, all of it.
Yeah.
And pull in that successful author that's sitting on the beach with your feet up, watching the turtles come out of the sand and go into the ocean. Galapagos, because I see you. You know what I mean? Really, I understand it. And I just got this, you said awakening earlier. And I was like, boy, I just been sitting here waking up and keeping my thing on simmering. If I was a teapot, I'd be going, boo! You know that sound when it boils over, because I was looking at how many tricks they have to publish a book and make it a bestseller, right? Milan, did you know that Peggy McCall had one book published in 4 different countries? Published in India, published in, and these are by Hay House, but different branches. And so it looked like her increase in the United States was great, but globally is how she's making her money, right? By selling her mindset information way over there. So that's a key factor in attracting what you want to be a bestseller.
Hey,
And this is-
Monty, that a
Yes.
lot of that was muted because the ship shopper decided to call me. So
It's okay. It's fine. I'm gonna say it again. 'Cause one thing I love to do is speak. Like these people will tell you. So I was saying, Peggy McCall, I've noticed because I'm searching. And by the way, I've been working with her for years and I didn't know this. So this is a fun new fact that she had one book published in 4 different countries. And in India, it went bestseller overnight. Her mindset book. She ain't told me nothing about this. India. Wait till I talk to her. But anyway, attracting, pulling more information. I might even write some of my book today. I might feel good enough to write today because of this conversation, and I hope that I pulled that and attracted that myself
You
just
muted my
by
phone.
the push pull.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when that call came through, it muted my phone and now I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, we can hear you
We
very
can
well.
hear
Can you
you.
hear?
We can
I'm
hear
sorry,
you.
Milan, go ahead.
You.
No, I was just saying that we can hear her.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I thought that was really fascinating. She did that in 2007, 2008, 2011.
Mm.
Look, I'm gonna jump on the right bus every time. I'm gonna tell you that. Now, you might see a lot of people in the world, but when I tell you I'm gonna jump on the right bus at the right time. I met this lady. I shared some excerpts with her at a $30,000 cash seed event called The Matrix in Canada. And Tommy said, Monty, I promise I met this lady. She's a best-selling author. You need to give her some excerpts from your book. Next thing I know, I was sitting in front of a steak this big. It looked like a pot roast. I was like, yeah. So she was crying across the table, and Tommy was comforting her because she was like, oh my God, I've never been broken into pieces and then built back up by somebody else's strength and words, like I was with yours. She said, I'm giving you my writer's program. She's given me two of them, actually, as she had the older model and then she got the newer model, and they're both like $4,900 values. She also gave, I'm just telling you how generous she is, she also gave my cousin, who is my genealogy business partner, the program as well. So she is a multimillionaire. So I think that when you kept saying publisher, 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 because I think of Peggy as an author, but her sister may as well be Hay House. Just saying. And guess who is her BFF?
Hey.
I'm going
In
to
the
jump on the right bus for the right reasons. I believe in increase, and I believe in the power of knowing the right people. And when I
Right.
say that, Bob Proctor will say, look at the 5 people around you and look at the results. And currently it's us, right? And so when I look at that, how do we manifest more results? How do we pull in and attract more results? Well, we do things like this and cause the success of an individual who is already primed and ready for it, and yet the action steps needed to be worked out. The push, what do you need to push away and what do you need to be pushed into? Because
Right.
push and pull, this energy is just like that hourglass that we have. We can change it. Everything's energy. So when I say push and pull, and push has a negative connotation, yeah, it does. But you can use it for the good. Push out the bad.
Right.
Push out the false evidence appearing real, that's fear. And stick with what's true. Did anybody remember what I said true acronym was?
I've never heard you say the true acronym.
I said it when I just said it when we just started. Does anybody remember when I said it?
No.
The real, undisputed evidence.
Ah,
True. The real, and somebody told me that. I thought it was catchy. I like it. It works for me. The real,
Yeah.
undisputed evidence, that's what you pull in. And then
Right.
you push out false evidence appearing real. And I was like, you know what? You can get a ribbon for that. That's what I told him because that felt good to me. It felt good. It didn't feel over the top. It's like, true.
I like that.
The real, ladies and gentlemen, in this corner, we have true. You get it? The real undisputed evidence. So
Evidence.
pull that in and hold on to it and push away that other stuff. Because the more we do that, the more we talk, the closer we are to your success. The more we
Right.
talk about it, Terry, the more we speak. Because again, here I am, right here in this position that I'm in, here to help you. And in order for me to be triggered to pour from my cup, which is my job, is to hear you say what you need over and over again until it resonates and I look into my resources and Mariposa looks into hers and Jenna looks into hers and Milan and Ryan look into theirs, whatever our resources may be for you. And that's how your cup's going to overflow on a continual basis. Because when I get done talking to this woman, what's your book about?
It's a children's book. It's
Girl,
called
don't
Talk
say
to
it's
Me
a
Mama.
children's story. Jesus.
What was the
Help me,
last
Lord.
part
Let
you
me
said?
write this down. Let me tell her now. Peggy, it's a children's story. Let me send her a recording. Because I'm with the stuff. Good morning, Peggy McCall. I am on Zoom currently with my team. And we have our client, Miss Terry, with us. Can you guys say hi?
Hello.
Peggy.
Peggy.
Hello. Hello,
Morning.
everybody's enthused. This is impromptu. You know how I do it. I just run through, bulldoze, and everything. Listen, Terry wrote a children's book. Terry needs some guidance. Terry needs a publisher. And I would really love to have a wonderful chat with my friend. So I'm looking forward to
The
hearing
title
from
of the book, Jenna, is called Talk to Me Mama.
The title of the book is called Talk to Me Mama, and we will talk to you more about that when you get back to me. Love you lots. Bye.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
I was just thinking, Monty, how you were talking about her in other countries. If
Uh-huh.
it'd be worth it to get a book published in other languages as well. I mean,
I
that's
believe that's
proven
what they did.
success
I
to a
just
lot of
didn't read
people.
the whole thing, but yes, correct.
Oh, I was curious, like for Terry, like having an
Mhm.
English version and a Spanish version. I don't know what that
Yes.
entails, but
Just that quick.
that was one thing that I thought of while you were talking about the other countries.
I love that. I love that. You guys love, 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 love,
It
love.
would be really helpful if you knew someone that had a master's degree in Spanish. That would probably be helpful.
Well, I know this Lord. He's a Lord. I don't know if we can afford him. You hear me? He got a title.
What you say? I might have to call in some birth favors,
Girl, would
I gave you birth. You say-
Wait a minute. Wait. What
I let you
kind
live in
of-
my belly. You better do
first-
this.
After you tore me up.
You live for
I
9
tried
months
that.
rent free now.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I used to do that with my son.
If you could have
Oh.
seen your face, Terry, you said, "Oh, wait a minute," without pause, Milan. She's like, no, I birthed him. We got
Do
this.
you really have a degree in Spanish, a master's?
Isn't
And
that?
I do. Yeah.
Milan, we've been
Hey,
wanting
¿por
to
qué
have
no
a chance.
sabía? ¿Qué te pasa?
Okay.
No me
We've
dices
been wanting to
nada.
have like, what was it we were wanting to have on our webinars? We were hoping to have as far as translating and so on and so forth.
No, look, okay. My book, I want to translate it in Spanish. I mean, I could do it myself. I want to do it myself. I just don't have the time right now, but I will.
Mhm.
I wanted to translate Happier Than God into Spanish.
I remember.
I don't know if he's already had it translated.
Mhm.
Milan and I could translate it if Milan
If
is
you
okay.
guys can check it, I could put part 2 into speaking to Neil Donald Walsh personally.
I've already booked it.
I love how people love me. It's like, who am I? Like, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody.
Okay.
Your network.
First of all, Milan knows the address. Just send the paramedics too.
God help me.
I feel myself the oxygen in this room is getting very small. But
Mm.
one of the things when we were talking earlier about the heart, one of my one of my favorite songs is "Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord." And when Mariposa was talking about the different chambers and whatever, and the heart, and it's just like I am seeing beyond what I normally saw.
Mhm.
With the
Chambers
writing
are
of
open.
the goals, with the meeting you guys. It's
Hey, who that? My bad. I'm sorry. That must be Milan's ringtone.
I didn't even know my phone was ringing. Like there was nothing on the screen. It just started making noise.
I thought it was Monty.
I thought he
I thought it was Monty too.
open the eyes of my heart, Lord. I was just getting ready to draw in.
I thought it
because
was me.
I want to see you. It's amazing. I'm yeah.
You can have
Yes.
anything as far as you can see. As far as you can see is
With your heart. Yeah.
your heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's God wanting it for you, through you.
right.
Mhm.
I am blown away, but it's a good kind of, taser moment. I'm keeping it calm so it doesn't look like there's an earthquake going on where I am, but bye baby. The more I hear, the more you share, the more you talk, and it's like you guys are in my head. And the things that I think about and the things that I want to experience, you've either experienced, know somebody to help you experience, you're gonna experience, you've been there, you've done that, you're wearing the t-shirts, and I am just, my eyes are open. Milan
Yeah.
knows me. For me to be tongue-tied and speechless is rare. So
And I think that's awesome that you are tongue-tied and speechless, because it's allowing you to feel.
Mhm.
To feel and be aware
Oh,
of the
I'm
moment that it's.
feeling all right. I'm just holding my hands under the table and got my
Well-
feet planted up against the leg of the table so that I'm, they were like, where'd she go? She down.
Well, it's an opportunity to just notice, and just notice the difference that comes when you say yes to yourself in a big way. Like you saw some or the Waymaker Wednesdays, and you were a part of that, and you joined some of the free calls and whatnot, and you took a risk. Like, hey, I'm going to bet that this is going to pay off. But even like scripture says, a mustard sized faith, and you were just like, I bet it'll pay off in some way. And like, this is like, it's paying off in a bigger way. And it's like, because your expectation was what it was, the expectation preceded the evidence. And now, like Mariposa was saying with the gestation, like you're gathering evidence, like, oh, well, maybe I'm going to add this and add that, and I'll add this. And it's.
I went from carrying a single birth to multiple births. So, it's like, hello, Good Morning America or Today Show, she done birthed the quintuplets.
Love it. Yeah.
You know what I want to say to that? You've said it several times, and especially when you said it about Milan, I'm gonna call it a birth favorite. Listen, what you're gonna experience when you birth this idea, and your book is published, and then you give birth and you nurture and you raise this next idea, and then you do it again, and then we see you 6 months from now, and you come on a call and you say, you're telling another person, right, hey, about your experience, and you're saying, listen guys, this is how it happened. In a flash, everything was different. I begin to see things, I begin to feel things, I begin to embody things and manifest things. All that's the pull.
Mhm.
The greatest pull great things to you. Keep saying it. Let people laugh at you. Because guess what? My friend just came from Atlanta over the weekend. She's retired 7 years from the Air Force. She's only 47. And she's retired, and she's got a cake business. And she says, Monty, darling, we're from the same town. She said, we came from the mud, right? She said, let's get together. Let's do a podcast. She said, I've got a heck of a following. I said, girl, you're right on time. Here, take this DNA test back to Atlanta with you. You know what I mean? And go and get on my genealogy site and let's get busy. This girl caused me to think of you and to say, just because we came from whatever beginnings we did, we made a decision, right? Decision based, forward motion, think positive, embody good feelings of the results you want, right? Pull good vibration to you, no matter where you are. And I'm saying this about my friend Megan, no matter where we were, no matter what our parents were and our grandparents were, we made the decision to have that awakening, to allow the awakening. It's because a lot of us, listen, when you see something that's great, you know if it's kind of great. And if you move away from it, you're denying yourself a blessing, right? Not investigating, not pulling that thing that just appeared closer to you so you can identify it and see if it's something that's going to serve you. Like when I met Peggy McCall, I was like, okay, permanent, Let me say this permanent number. Let me get your home address. Let me get all your emails. She's got 70 of them. Do you know she owns over 300 domain names, Milan? And some of them are in the 6 figures. And people want to buy them from her. I'm like, how in the world did you do this? She said, well, you know, network marketing has always been my thing. So it's not like Peggy's just an author. She's a scholar, like Mariposa was saying. She started with Bob. She used to date Bob's son, Brian, right? For years. They was a couple.
I didn't know that.
I'm writing a book. Shh. So anyway, I'm glad that you're here on this journey. I'm glad that we pulled you to us. I'm glad that we pulled Milan to us. Milan, I'm glad that you answered that call when I called you, right? Regardless of where we were, look at where we are and where we're going, right?
Right.
Per you allowing Milan. That's you.
Yeah.
Back to Milan.
Yeah, and in that push and pull is something that we do constantly, but like I'm always saying, it's one thing to do what you believe is right. It's another thing to know that there's, you know, these universal laws, you know, adding to it. That the push and pull is something that you can do consciously, of pushing out the negative or allowing others to push you up, or, you know, just pull things into you. And I love the image of the heart, and I'm gonna send you a graphic after we get off the call, Mom, from the Waymakers, with the heart figure in the middle, and then just like elements of what you're pulling in. Because I learned too recently that the heart is like, there's actually 3 brains in your body, 3 centers of action. And it's like, one is your brain, of course. The other, like your heart has its own brain inside it that is intelligent. And like your lungs have the same thing, like they can operate independently and think and send you messages. And just knowing that, you know, the power of what you can pull into you and just claim as yours, it's, you know, it's no wonder that things are going exponentially, because like I said in the beginning, you know, with the more people that you add on that are believing in the same direction, the more exponential your result. Because, you know, scripture tells us 1 can beat 1,000, 2 can beat 10,000. When you start adding, now we're up to 6, that's 100 million. That's 100 million options of power going in all these directions. And it just keeps going exponential from there. And it's no wonder that these things are happening so fast. It's just, and I want you to be mindful of keep raising your expectations. Just keep raising your expectations, because like scripture says, open your mouth wide and I will fill it. So it's just like Monty was saying, talk about that stuff. Keep talking about it to you, talking about what it's going to be, talking about yourself being interviewed. Like Jenna was saying, walking through Oprah's garden, it's like, oh yeah, I love your tomatoes, and talking about your book. And she's old to talk to me mama, and talk to me grandma, and talk to me papa, and talk to me brother, and talk to me sister, and you know, the whole talk to me series. And just not even focusing on the how, but just the joy of it all. Because when you're on the joy of it all, that frequency is what pulls more things to you and pushes away the things that aren't unnecessary.
Right. You can't have both in the same space. And it's like having your cup overflowing is filling your cup with your heart's desires.
Yeah. Filling it first.
First.
Being self-full so that you can pour into others. And that's, you know, that like Monty's self-full when it comes to a network. He's like, I know too many people.
And you know what? I want y'all to know something. I just literally almost started weeping just now, because I thought about how much I unconsciously pushed shit, excuse my French, away from me.
That's not French, it's nailed in French.
Doggone it, French. Anyway, look, French and Spanish, right? And African American. If you didn't get all of the crib down the crib, I'm gonna come on now. Check it out though. It's like I literally just realized that, boy, because what I wrote at the top, Milan, when you said awareness, I had wrote lack of awareness, lack of push awareness. I like when people say you're pushy and you push this and it's too pushy and don't do this, there's something that becomes negative about that. But when you think about what you've actually pushed out of your way, right? What you pushed to the side and what you said, look,
what you're pushing out, you know, because we're pushing out energy also. 'Cause,
Yes,
like,
and
you're like right now, you're pushing out
you better
positivity.
doggone believe it. I'm pushing it out. I'm
You know?
pushing out energy. You know why? I'll tell you what, you guys, I feel more inspired today, even after losing my notes, because I had some really great notes, but apparently this was to be the verbatim. This was to
Right.
be what we discussed and how we discussed it. Because if I'd got on my other notes, I would have never thought about Peggy. I would have never thought about, not today. I would have eventually, because that's just how my scatterbrain works. Oh, wait a minute, pinball machine. Woo, turtles. So Milan's like, okay, wait till he lands. He'll be here tomorrow. Everything will be cool. But anyway,
Just hold on to the string and ride the balloon because
Yeah.
Mikey gonna take us
but
there.
it's all love. When I get this message back, I'm gonna message you, Milan, so you can know, okay?
Yeah.
And it
Really
is
are.
9
Take
o'clock.
your time.
Happy Halloween. I hope you all have a spooky, successful year, spooky,
Yes.
successful day.
Hey Terry, can you wrap up the call for us
By doing what?
by just summing up how you feel, what your thoughts are, whatever you would like to say.
My thoughts are with God, all things are possible. But there is a little comma in that, not a period, because it falls back to it takes a village and it takes people. And that together has caused my heart. I kind of feel like the Grinch right now, that it's just going, to where but I don't only just see it for me. When Mariposa said something about the children coming up to me, that's kind of my lifeline. That's my lifeline. And if I'm going to put a smile on if I'm going to put a child on a smile's face or a parent's face, or I become a nighttime habit of reading, and it's in one of the lines in the book is talk to me, Mama, about the people you see. They're different in color and size than me. It's opening up their world. It's opening up their world. And if I can't do it personally, one-on-one, then I can do it the book on thousands, and then that'll ripple. And I can't tell you the joy that my heart's feeling right now.
And that opens up the conversation for them to have. Because it's just
Right.
it's the kid saying, talk to me, Mama, and it gives the parents the opportunity to open that up for them, to open
Right.
up the parents' world. It's just, yeah, it's planting the seed that's blooming into the orchard.
And this
Yeah.
is what I said in the beginning, I'm writing it down too, is that the world needs more of you, Terry. Like more mothers like you. So you
I
are,
swear.
in
Oh, say that again.
the world
Jesus.
needs more mothers like you. And so you are multiplying yourself and your love in the books, and you're replicating that. And you
I'm
are
trying.
so.
I'm
I
trying.
think some of the
Of
chambers
course,
of my little
my
heart.
my 5 besties get their
Okay.
signed copy spray and all that good stuff. And your
Yay.
children's and your grandchildren's, it's going to be on the shelf and all that good stuff.
I
But
love that.
I
love
decided
that.
to say before I forget, the images of your book to me have textures. I remember when I was little, I liked the texture, and my niece likes to touch like the
Yeah.
velvety or the little steps or just touch.
Girl, I'm trying to hold on to this table now.
But it's beautiful.
love that
Embrace that
too.
joy. If you want to fly, fly. If
Yeah, I
you want to
wanna
jump over, if you want to go jump on the couch, go jump on the couch.
Woo, Child Anderson would love the heck out of that because he would think Grandma had lost her padoodle. She keep telling us not to jump on the couch and seeing her jumping on the couch.
But the joy causes you to just break all the rules, right?
Can go
Yeah.
back to being like little kids, like little children. We have
And
arrived.
which is something I never really gave up. I might not have the knees to jump on the couch, but I can sit on that bad boy and bounce.
Right on. Right on. Blessings. Blessings. Thank you for sharing that on your wrap up, for wrapping up the call. Thank you for expressing yourself. I think that moving forward, it'll be wise to ask you to do that at least once a week. To wrap the call and assess what you feel, and so that we can have a gauge, yet another gauge on being close to you. Thank you for your time and your trust. Have a good day.
Waymakers out.
Waymakers out.
Love it.
Oh.
Have a beautiful, blessed day, everyone.